From the feral Whole Lotta Love to the meditative Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin has brought hugely inspiring and influential tunes to the rock and roll world. And none of these songs would have been the same without the powerful voice and captivating lyrics of Robert Plant. Rolling Stone once declared Plant the best lead singer of all time. His stage presence was one of the first that said "Rock God." Yet, despite his fame, the man behind the screen remained somewhat of a mystery to many. Now, at the age of 75, Robert Plant's daughter has finally confirmed what many have long suspected. He had a happy childhood. Robert Plant's roots in the industrial heartland of Birmingham shaped his upbringing in profound ways. Born on August 20, 1948, in the Black Country, an area marked by the lingering effects of World War II, bombings, and heavy pollution, Plant's childhood was colored by the resilience of his surroundings. However, amidst the challenges, he found solace and joy in the vibrant presence of his mother, Annie Celia Plant. Described by Plant himself as suitably and joyfully combustible, Annie infused their home with music and movement, fostering an atmosphere of creativity and warmth. While Robert's father, also named Robert, had set aside his passion for the violin to support the family, it was Annie's spirited nature that left an indelible mark on her son. Her Romani heritage added a unique dimension to her character, which Plant cherished and embraced, along with her striking curly hair. In a reflective moment with BBC's Desert Island Discs, Plant fondly recalled his mother's infectious energy, recounting how her singing and dancing brought joy to their household. He also reminisced about Annie's thick, unruly hair, a feature he admired and inherited. As he shared with GQ, "My mother, her hair was very, very thick. She couldn't even get a brush through it." Annie's influence on Plant extended beyond his formative years, shaping his artistic sensibilities and contributing to his musical journey with Led Zeppelin. Her legacy lives on in the soulful melodies and electrifying performances that have defined Plant's iconic career. His father wanted him to be an accountant. Robert Plant's upbringing was shaped not only by his mother's influence, but also by his father's background and aspirations, as detailed in Paul Rees's Robert Plant. A Life Plant Sr. was a civil engineer and Royal Air Force veteran who instilled in his son a love for cycling and fervent support for the Wolverhampton Wanderers football team. However, despite these shared interests, Plant Sr. held more conservative views that clashed with Robert's artistic inclinations. In an illuminating interview with BBC's Desert Island Discs, Plant revealed the tension between him and his father regarding his career choice. Plant Sr., representative of his generation, struggled to comprehend music as a viable profession. As Plant recalled, his father belonged to the era where traditional professions like accountancy were valued over pursuits in the arts. Consequently, young Robert found himself pressured to pursue a career in accountancy, a path that his father deemed more practical and respectable. In the early 1960s, Plant embarked on an undergraduate program in finance and accounting at the London School of Economics, supported by a scholarship. Although he eventually dropped out, citing his growing passion for music, Plant's brief foray into the world of finance left a lasting impact. As noted by exec Hunter, his financial acumen proved invaluable to Led Zeppelin, leading to innovative cost-saving measures during their tours. Plant's suggestion to rent a jet for accommodation, rather than booking numerous hotel rooms, stands as a testament to his astute financial management skills, which complemented his artistic prowess within the band. He left home to avoid arguments with his parents. Robert Plant's early musical journey was marked by a fervent passion that often clashed with the expectations of his family, as recounted by Paul Rees in Robert Plant. A Life Plant's love affair with music began at the tender age of 9, when he would emulate Elvis Presley by singing into his hairbrush. Growing up near Stourbridge during his teenage years, Plant found himself drawn to the town's blues scene, particularly the Seven Stars Blues Club, where he immersed himself in the sounds of the Delta Blues Band. However, Plant's increasing dedication to music came at the expense of his academic pursuits. Spending more time at the blues bar meant less time at school, sparking conflict within his family. In an interview with The Guardian, Plant candidly admitted the challenges of balancing his musical aspirations with parental and educational expectations, acknowledging the strain it placed on his relationships. His involvement with the Crawling King Snakes, a local band, exacerbated tensions with his parents, leading to a period of estrangement. Despite his efforts to navigate both worlds, Plant's academic performance suffered, culminating in his alleged expulsion from school due to truancy. At the age of 17, Plant made the decision to leave home, forging his path in pursuit of his musical dreams. Reflecting on his journey, Plant emphasized to Louder his eventual reconciliation with his parents, underscoring the eventual understanding and acceptance he found as he embarked on his musical odyssey. He had his big break in 1963. In 1963, Robert Plant found himself on the cusp of a musical journey that would forever alter the landscape of rock and roll. At the age of 15, Plant's budding fascination with music led him to intersect with the Jurymen, a band comprising his friends and schoolmates. While Plant initially supported the group by carrying their gear, fate intervened when the Jurymen's lead singer, Andy Long, fell ill on the day of a crucial gig. With no alternative in sight, Plant seized the opportunity to step into the spotlight, taking to the stage at the Bull's Head pub in Lye. Recollections of Plant's debut performance vary, reflecting the blend of nerves and raw talent that defined the moment. As recounted in Robert Plant, a life plant himself, recalls feeling overwhelmed by stage fright, unable to make direct eye contact with the audience until years later. However, for Jurymen, drummer John Dudley Plant's inaugural concert was marked by an electrifying confidence that belied any apprehension. Despite the internal turmoil, Plant's commanding vocals left an indelible impression on the audience, propelling him into the realm of local bands and setting the stage for his meteoric rise to rock stardom. Working with Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones was initially intimidating. By the late 1960s, Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones had already established themselves as accomplished musicians in the music scene. According to Rolling Stone, Jones had garnered recognition for his work with Donovan and Jeff Beck, including crafting the iconic string arrangement for the Rolling Stones' She's a Rainbow. Meanwhile, Page, known for his virtuoso guitar skills, was part of the Yardbirds. However, in 1968, the Yardbirds found themselves without a vocalist, prompting Page to embark on a search for the perfect frontman across the UK. Page's initial choice was Terry Reid, a vocalist renowned for his powerful voice and esteemed by fellow musicians like Aretha Franklin. However, Reid, who was on tour with The Doors and Jefferson Airplane at the time, asked Page to wait a few weeks. Unwilling to delay, Page sought an alternative and turned to Reid for recommendations. It was then that Reid suggested Robert Plant, whom he had previously encountered when Plant opened for one of Reid's shows. Reflecting on the turn of events, Reid remarked, "It's a waste of time to talk about it. They did really well, end of story." For Plant, joining the Yardbirds was a monumental leap into the unknown. Suddenly thrust into the company of seasoned musicians like John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, Plant found himself grappling with feelings of intimidation. Recalling the experience, Plant admitted, "We were suddenly alongside John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, who were really seriously accomplished, far more mature. I was really kind of intimidated." It wasn't until around 1970-1971 that Plant began to cultivate the confidence that would define his iconic vocal prowess. Led Zeppelin's first concert was on Robert Plant's wedding day. In 1966, Robert Plant's life took a significant turn when he crossed paths with Maureen Wilson at a cancelled Georgie Fame concert. Unlike the conventional dynamics of the time, it was Wilson who provided support to Plant during the initial years of their relationship. Hailing from a hard-working family background, Wilson's father owned a steel factory, where Plant briefly found employment while pursuing his musical aspirations. Simultaneously, Wilson worked as a nurse, shouldering the couple's financial responsibilities, at least until Plant's career trajectory took a dramatic upswing with the Yardbirds. Late in 1968, the new Yardbirds transitioned into Led Zeppelin, marking the beginning of a new era in rock music, as documented by Rolling Stone. Led Zeppelin's inaugural performance under their new moniker took place at the London Roundhouse on November 9th. It was at this very venue, immediately following their groundbreaking concert, that Plant and Wilson exchanged vows, sealing their commitment to each other. Over the years, the couple welcomed 3 children into their family: Carmen Carrack and Logan. While Plant embarked on rigorous touring schedules with Led Zeppelin, Wilson typically remained at their farmhouse, providing stability and nurturing their growing family. He has a history of horrific car crashes. In 1975, Led Zeppelin soared to the zenith of their musical career. Following the release of their lauded album Physical Graffiti, the band's previous works surged to the top of the album charts, solidifying their status as rock icons. Their North American tour was met with fervent enthusiasm, culminating in 5 consecutive sold-out performances at London's prestigious Earl's Court Arena, a testament to their global acclaim and popularity. However, amidst their triumphant journey, tragedy struck while the band was vacationing in Greece between tour stops. A grave car accident involving Led Zeppelin frontman Robert Plant's family cast a shadow over their success. Conflicting reports emerged regarding the circumstances of the accident, with some sources attributing the mishap to Plant's wife Maureen, while others suggest Plant himself was behind the wheel. Regardless, the rented car veered off the road, causing minimal injuries to their children, but leaving Plant and Maureen profoundly affected. In the aftermath of the accident, Plant faced the harrowing prospect of losing his beloved wife. The lack of immediate access to substantial financial resources heightened the gravity of the situation. However, owing to the band's considerable wealth amassed from their musical endeavors, arrangements were swiftly made to airlift Maureen to safety aboard a private plane equipped with medical personnel. However, the car accident also left the singer in pretty bad shape, not just physically, but mentally. The timely intervention of Led Zeppelin's tour manager proved to be a lifesaver, as he arranged for the injured family members to be flown to Guy's Hospital in London for urgent medical treatment. Maureen's injuries were particularly grave, and her survival was nothing short of miraculous. Robert recounted the challenging months that followed in a BBC interview, describing how he was confined to a wheelchair for an extended period. Despite his physical limitations, Plant remained determined to continue his musical pursuits, and he played a significant role in the creation of Led Zeppelin's 1976 album Presence recording tracks from his wheelchair. One such track, Achilles' Last Stand, was initially dubbed the Wheelchair Song, reflecting the circumstances under which it was composed. In the aftermath of the tragic accident, Led Zeppelin faced significant setbacks, including the cancellation of their tour and delays in their album production schedule. Plant's slow recovery further compounded these challenges, forcing the band to put their musical endeavors on hold. Despite his physical limitations, Plant made valiant efforts to continue working with the band, even contributing to the writing process of their next album, Presence from a Wheelchair. One notable result of this period was the composition of Achilles' Last Stand, a song inspired by Plant's experience of being unable to walk. However, the accident also provided an unexpected twist in the form of a copyright infringement lawsuit filed against the band in 2014. The lawsuit alleged that Jimmy Page and Robert Plant had plagiarized the song Stairway to Heaven from the American band Spirit's track Taurus, following a shared tour experience in 1970. Plant found himself in the courtroom, where he testified about his memory loss following the car accident. Plant stated that he had no recollection of Spirit or any other band playing with Led Zeppelin during that time. "I can't recall Spirit or anybody else playing there with the passing of time," he admitted. The singer attributed his memory lapses to the severity of the crash, revealing that his wife had suffered a fractured skull while his own head had been buried in the car's windshield. "I did have a bad car accident," Plant recounted. "I don't remember seeing spirit." The string of car accidents left an indelible mark on Plant's life and career, underscoring the fragility of existence and the resilience required to overcome adversity. Despite the challenges he faced, Plant's unwavering commitment to his music and his family exemplified his strength of character and enduring spirit. Robert Plant lost his son. In 1977, Led Zeppelin embarked on what would become one of their most tumultuous tours in the United States. The tour was already plagued with challenges stemming from Robert Plant's previous car accident, which had caused delays and setbacks. Violence and small riots erupted at several tour stops, contributing to the tour's ominous atmosphere. However, on July 26th, tragedy struck in the most devastating manner possible. Robert Plant received distressing news that his 5-year-old son, Kerak Plant, was ill with a stomach virus. Kerak had contracted the virus from Maureen Plant, who had recently recovered from the same illness. Later that same day, another call delivered the heartbreaking news. Kerak had passed away. The devastating loss of their beloved son sent shockwaves through the Led Zeppelin camp, prompting the immediate cancellation of the tour. Reflecting on the profound impact of Kerak's passing, Robert's father conveyed the deep bond shared between father and son, describing Kerak as the apple of Robert's eye in a statement to the Associated Press. In the aftermath of Kerak's death, Robert Plant retreated to the solace of the family's farmhouse, grappling with unimaginable grief and attempting to piece together what remained of his shattered family. Consumed by sorrow, Plant initially shunned the world of music, prioritizing his family above all else. In a candid interview with Charlie Rose in 2012, Plant expressed his sentiments, emphasizing that there are priorities in life beyond the realm of entertainment. His anguish was further articulated in a conversation with Rolling Stone, where he unequivocally stated his desire to step away from Led Zeppelin, expressing a deep longing to be with his grieving family during their darkest hour. Despite his reluctance to return to music, it was the persuasive efforts of his bandmate John Bonham that ultimately convinced Plant to reconsider. In the face of overwhelming sorrow and personal tragedy, Robert Plant found solace in the camaraderie and support of his bandmates, ultimately returning to Led Zeppelin to navigate the turbulent waters of grief and healing together. He considered teaching. Following the devastating loss of his son, Kerak Robert Plant found himself contemplating a significant career change driven by a desire for greater meaning and purpose. In a candid interview with GQ in 2011, Plant reflected on the inherent insecurities that often accompany the realm of entertainment, acknowledging a personal longing for a more genuine and selfless path. He contemplated leaving behind the egocentric world of music in favor of a career that would allow him to make a more meaningful impact. Plant's introspection led him to consider applying for a teaching position at the Rudolf Steiner Waldorf Schools in the West Midlands, seeking solace in the prospect of a profession grounded in nurturing and education. Recounting the pivotal moment in an interview with the BBC's Desert Island Discs Plant, shared a remarkable encounter with his bandmate John Bonham, which would ultimately alter the course of his decision. As Plant made his way to the Waldorf Education Center, he was met by Bonham, who awaited him at the gate in an unexpected twist of fate. Bonham, clad in a chauffeur's cap and driving a 6-door Mercedes, whisked Plant away to a nearby pub in a determined effort to dissuade him from abandoning music. Plant found himself inspired by Bonham's unwavering support and conviction, ultimately choosing to remain with Led Zeppelin, at least for the time being. In Bonham's gesture of friendship and encouragement, Plant discovered renewed purpose and resolve, recognizing the profound impact of camaraderie and solidarity in navigating life's challenges. He is deeply inspired by Indian and Moroccan music. Robert Plant's fascination with Indian culture and music has been a lifelong passion that has deeply influenced his musical journey. This interest later expanded to include Northern Africa, reflecting Plant's eclectic taste and adventurous spirit. Mohammed Rafi, one of India's most revered playback singers, holds a special place in Plant's heart, as his music evokes fond memories of the time when Plant formed a close bond with a Gujarati family living near his wife Maureen Plant's family home. Plant would often drop by unannounced to immerse himself in their rich culinary delights and soulful music, fostering a deep appreciation for Indian musical traditions. Plant's love for Indian music culminated in a memorable recording session with Jimmy Page in Bombay, now Mumbai, in 1972. Collaborating with renowned classical musicians Ustad Sultan Khan and Pete Vijay Raghav Rao Plant, and Page embarked on a journey of musical exploration that laid the foundation for their fascination with non-Western sounds. In 1994, Plant and Page reunited for a musical project titled No Quarter. Although the endeavor did not bear the Led Zeppelin moniker due to the absence of John Paul Jones, it marked a significant chapter in their collaborative efforts. A substantial portion of the project was filmed in Morocco, where Plant and Page immersed themselves in the vibrant cultural tapestry of the region. The influence of North African music permeates the live album, with tracks featuring captivating rhythms and melodies that showcase the duo's artistic evolution. Arabic and Oriental influences also resonate throughout Plant's solo albums, such as Mighty Rearranger and Carry Fire, demonstrating his ongoing exploration of diverse musical traditions and his unwavering commitment to pushing artistic boundaries. John Bonham's death was the end of Led Zeppelin for Robert Plant. Robert Plant's bond with John Bonham transcended mere bandmates. They were lifelong friends who shared a deep connection forged in their black country roots and mutual musical aspirations. From their high school days to the pinnacle of Led Zeppelin's success, Plant and Bonham stood by each other's side, their friendship enduring until Bonham's tragic death in September 1980. The circumstances surrounding Bonham's passing cast a somber shadow over Led Zeppelin's future. Ultimate Classic Rock recounts how the band was preparing for their eagerly anticipated tour, marking their return since 1977. However, Bonham's battle with alcoholism had reached a critical juncture, culminating in a fatal consumption of 40 units of vodka on the day of his death. John Paul Jones, who discovered Bonham's lifeless body, recalled the final rehearsals with a mix of sadness and concern, acknowledging the toll that alcohol had taken on his friend. Despite fleeting moments of promise, Bonham's excessive drinking led to a tragic accident that claimed his life, leaving his bandmates reeling from the sudden loss. For Plant, the news of Bonham's death was a devastating blow. Led Zeppelin without Bonham seemed inconceivable, as he was an integral part of the band's identity and sound. Even after Bonham's son Jason Bonham participated in Led Zeppelin's only reunion performance at the 2007 Celebration Day concert in London, Plant remained steadfast in his conviction that Led Zeppelin could never be recreated without Bonham. When Jason Bonham broached the subject of a potential Led Zeppelin reunion, Plant's response underscored the depth of his affection and respect for his fallen friend. Plant's poignant words to Jason reflected the profound impact that John Bonham had on his life and the indelible mark he left on Led Zeppelin's legacy. "I loved your dad way too much. He had a few problems with his voice." Robert Plant's distinctive voice is one of the defining elements of Led Zeppelin's sound, but the musician's vocal cords faced significant challenges on more than one occasion. In the early 1970s, Plant underwent surgery to remove vocal cord nodules, a procedure that likely took place between late 1972 and early 1973. Following the surgery, Plant's vocal quality experienced a remarkable improvement, leading many to speculate about the timing of the operation and its positive impact on his singing abilities. However, the early 1990s brought a frightening moment for Plant when he received unsettling news from a voice specialist in London. Recounting the experience to Dan, Rather, Plant described how the specialist delivered a grim prognosis, warning him that his voice would deteriorate to the point where it could no longer express surprise within 6 months. The dire prediction threatened to derail Plant's career as a rock star. Despite the ominous diagnosis, Plant remained resilient and determined to overcome the setback. Drawing inspiration from other musicians who had undergone similar challenges, such as Elton John and Steven Tyler, Plant refused to accept defeat. He embarked on a journey of recovery, undergoing whatever treatments were necessary to preserve his voice and continue pursuing his passion for music. Plant's confidence in his ability to bounce back proved to be well-founded. Contrary to the specialist's bleak forecast, Plant not only preserved his vocal abilities, but also continued to thrive creatively. He released several records in the aftermath of the doctor's ominous warning, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to his craft and his resilience in the face of adversity. He and Patty Griffin dated. In 2010, Robert Plant's romantic life took a significant turn when he began dating musician Patty Griffin following their collaboration in his project Band of Joy. Their relationship quickly blossomed on both personal and professional levels, with Plant finding in Griffin not only a romantic partner, but also a source of musical inspiration. The chemistry between them was palpable, prompting Plant to relocate to Austin, Texas, where Griffin resided. This move marked a significant shift for Plant, who had been living in the U.S. for some time. Griffin's influence on Plant's musical style became evident as their relationship deepened. Plant spoke highly of Griffin's musical prowess and soulful presence, citing her as a catalyst for his artistic growth. In an interview with Louder, he praised her prolific talent and described her as a source of both musical integrity and personal fulfillment. However, their relationship took a turn in 2014 when the couple parted ways. Plant faced the end of his romance with Griffin and found himself at a crossroads. It was during this period of introspection and transition that Plant made a significant decision to return to his homeland, the Welsh borders. The return to his roots proved to be a profound experience for Plant, shaping the direction of his music in unexpected ways. Rolling Stone notes that his album Lullaby and The Ceaseless Roar was heavily influenced by his homecoming with Plant, expressing gratitude for the opportunity to reconnect with the landscapes and communities of Wales. He described the album as an ode to life love and the unpredictable journey of existence. Reflecting on his decision to return to Wales, Plant expressed a sense of rediscovery and renewal. The familiar surroundings and the support of friends and confidants provided him with a sense of grounding and inspiration. The truth about Robert Plant's relationship with Phil Collins. Those versed in rock history might recall a significant moment involving Robert Plant and Phil Collins during Led Zeppelin's highly anticipated return to the stage at the iconic Live Aid concert in July 1985. This monumental event, broadcast to an audience of 1.5 billion people from Philadelphia's JFK Stadium, remains etched in memory. Despite the grandeur of the occasion, Led Zeppelin's performance that day was marred by technical glitches, off-key instruments, and a less-than-ideal vocal condition for Plant. The resulting show, labeled disastrous by critics and musicians alike, strained the relationship between Collins and Led Zeppelin's lead guitarist Jimmy Page. Collins, who famously juggled 2 performances that day by flying across the Atlantic to join Led Zeppelin, would later express regret over his involvement. Reflecting on the experience in interviews, he likened his role in the performance to being a square peg in a round hole. Years after the event, Collins candidly described the atmosphere surrounding Led Zeppelin as a nasty strain of alchemy, suggesting a palpable tension and discomfort when Plant reunited with his former bandmates. Despite the challenges, Plant maintained a diplomatic stance, affirming the efforts of all involved while acknowledging the difficulties faced during the performance. To provide clarity, it's important to note that despite the challenges faced during the Live Aid performance, There was no lingering tension between Plant and Collins in the years that followed. In fact, Collins emphasized in an interview that they remained still friends. Beyond the brief setback at Live Aid, the connection between Plant and Collins runs deeper than many rock fans may realize. What's often overlooked is Collins' pivotal role in supporting Plant during a period of personal and musical turmoil following the dissolution of Led Zeppelin in 1980. After experiencing the heartbreaking loss of his son Kerak in 1977 and the subsequent death of his close friend John Bonham in 1980, Plant found himself adrift both creatively and emotionally. In an interview with Rolling Stone, he candidly expressed his desire to step away from Led Zeppelin and focus on his family. However, a newfound sense of purpose began to emerge, thanks in part to Collins' encouragement and support. As Plant recounted in his podcast Digging Deep, the Robert Plant Podcast, Collins, who admired Bonham's drumming, encouraged him to pursue a solo career and even offered to contribute to the drum sessions for his debut solo album, Pictures at 11, released in 1982. During the recording process, Plant found inspiration in Collins' enthusiasm and work ethic, learning valuable lessons about patience and focus as a solo artist. The collaboration between Plant and Collins proved fruitful, leading to Collins' involvement in Plant's second solo album, Principle of Moments, released in 1983. Their partnership extended beyond the studio, with Collins joining Plant on a North American tour to promote the album. Reflecting on their collaboration in a 2019 podcast, Plant expressed deep appreciation for Collins' spirited encouragement and positive influence, describing him as a spirited, positive, and really encouraging force. In essence, the bond between Plant and Collins transcends mere musical collaboration. It embodies mutual respect, admiration, and unwavering support. And that's all for this video. Thanks for joining us. As always, if you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to support us. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.